Hello, everybody, and I hope everybody has been enjoying um, the fall weather. Okay, I even had gotten the mood a little bit and sort of decorated for the fall for the first time. But I didn't get on here for that. I got on here to share with y'all a message that I suppose I did this message probably about maybe about 3 weeks and 3 weeks or so now, right? And I didn't do it, right? So I kept on, the same thing kept popping up everywhere. Reason why I didn't do it is because in the beginning, when I went to go do it, I wound up listening online and hearing somebody else do it. So I was like, well, I'm not going to do it. Somebody else did that, so I'm not going to do it, right? Which we all know that a lot of different people can do a lot of the same things, but they present it in their own different way, right? And it's almost like one of those things. If you didn't hear me the first time, let me give it to you another way, right? So you just have to figure out which one you listen to that works for you, right? I'm trying to get y'all some light, really, but anyway, I struggle with the title of this message, whether to make it the sins of our father or do the right thing. Now, the initial message was do the right thing. Prior to that was sins of our father, and I never did that one, right? So I'm sort of going to combine a little quick message right quick for y'all, um, based on both of those, right? Okay, when it comes to the sins of our father, the reason why I said that, and I'm not just going to say sins of our father, I mean it as a whole, the sins of our fathers, our mothers, or whoever, right? So when I'm saying that, it's like, sometimes even if you're in gangs, if you're, um, I don't like to say racist, all that stuff, but whatever the case is, whatever you are continuing on in your family, as children we learn right from wrong, right? Most of us do, right? And even if we didn't learn right from wrong, at some point, sometimes we'd be like, this don't feel right. It feels like I'm doing something so wrong, right? So you get this feeling sometimes. But then if it's something that's embedded in you since you're a child, right? You feel like you're letting everybody down if you don't continue on with the wrongdoings of your previous generation, right? And this can go with anything. This is just not about, this is anything. It could be a child is born into a family that dealing drugs heavy all their life or whatever like that. It could be a child that's growing into a family that deals in anything. You know what I'm saying? Like abuse, anything. And it winds up becoming like something that you almost were programmed to do. Even though sometimes I'm talking to the ones who sometimes you deep down inside you feel like it's wrong. You see what I'm saying? But I want y'all to understand that there's so much power in being a person who decides within your generation to make it right. And that's where do the right thing comes in, right? Do you know how powerful that is to change the whole dynamic of your generation's future generation, right? Some things we couldn't change because it happened in the past, and we continued on with those things because it was what we were trained in to do as children, right? We were trained to do these things as children, and it almost feels like I didn't want to do this. You never been in, you're like, well, everybody doing this, so okay, I guess I better go ahead because I don't want to let everybody down. And in that situation, it can be where it's the wrong thing or the right thing. But in some cases, it's the wrong thing. And deep down inside, there are ones that know that it is the wrong thing to be doing. They know that they're hurting people or whatever, right? But you don't want to go up against like members of your family and stuff like that who, have done this programming thing since you were children, right? You don't want to go up against that because you don't want to feel like you were the one that did something wrong, but it's not doing something wrong. It's very powerful. And not only are you changing the dynamic of yourself, but you're changing the dynamic of the generation to come. Can you imagine that? To just do the right thing. We all know when something don't feel right. We know when we're doing wrong. I'm a grown woman, and I know when I'm doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? It just don't feel right to you. But sometimes we find ourselves in life doing things. It's just like if you have a family that's all y'all ever did, right? You know it's wrong, but you don't want to go up against that because that's all that was ever done, right? You don't want to go up against that, and I get that, right? But it's power in that. It's power in trying to change the dynamic of all the wrongdoing. It's power in that, and it's saving the generation to come, right? It's saving a generation to come. It's just like somebody tell you you in class and you know you got a group of friends and the class may say, "No, I don't like that person. Go pinch them." You don't want to pinch that person for real. You don't want to bully that person for real, but you wind up doing it because it's what everybody else is doing, and you don't want to let down the dynamic or the history or the friend group or the family, whoever. You know what I'm saying? But you know when it don't feel right, and just know it's a powerful thing to just make a change within your family dynamic to do the right thing to save the generation to come. Because right now, if some of the things we're doing continues, it's only going to get worse. There was another video that I did, well, I suppose I did, and it was called, I said, in this video, I said, people have a problem, I'm getting tongue twisted, but people have a problem with saying, that ain't my problem. That ain't my problem. But it's funny because I'm going to put all these pictures down below, but I'll talk about that, but the picture that I had put in my phone was the picture of the movie, since it is the October, right? Land of the Dead. I don't know if anybody ever seen that, but it's how they did all these distractions to the zombies, right? And they had built themselves this perfect world on the other side of the water that was zombie free, right? Anybody who was on the side with the zombies, they just was over there with the zombies, right? They was, just gonna get ate up by the zombies or whatever, right? They distracted the zombies with fireworks in the sky, right? They looked up at the sky. That's how they would distract them so they could come and go as they please. But they didn't allow them. They thought they weren't smart enough to get across the water to come to where it was real nice and lovely. And that's what I mean when I say, but they figured it out. They were no longer distracted by the fireworks, right? And they wind up making it across that water. You know what I'm saying? So don't keep doing the wrong thing and think that, it's not going to come to pass sometime. You keep doing so much wrong